Hey everybody, welcome back to the 6th round post-fight show with me, Zane Simon, and my co-host, as always, Eddie Mercado, coming to y'all from the end of UFC Sao Paulo, going down in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Now, before this event, I was a little bit like, man, people are hating on this card. It doesn't really have a co-main event, but I'm fine with it. Like, we get to see Jailton Almeida, do some jiu-jitsu things. We get to see a lot of, I thought, well-matched fights. Adolfo Vieira, Armin Petrosian looked like a great one. Couldn't wait for
Yeah,
that.
it did. Yeah.
And
I'm really bummed actually that got canceled.
yeah, so walking out of it, now I look like the asshole, right? Like,
That's nothing new, right? Like
yeah, I know.
this is par for the course.
Yeah,
We're on time here. No, this
it's
was a
true.
fun card though. Like the main event was, fucking boring.
The main event was terrible.
Unless you had money on Almeida by decision.
Even if you had money on Almeida, even if you have money on Almeida by decision, I think nobody wanted to watch it like that,
Yeah,
Where
no, for
he's,
sure.
as one of our viewers here, yeah, Almeida on top in full mount, just clearly exhausted. That that sucked. Like that's
So
where
like
you're.
it's like that's true. That's true. But you also have to understand like why it's true.
Well, yeah, I'm not
You
saying
know,
that there's not a practical side to this, but it's like one of those, two great defenses going against each other. You get a 3-6 football game, and people are like, yeah, well, that's what it's like. Yeah, okay, still nobody wants to watch that. Nobody wants to watch the 3-6 all field goal football game.
No, for sure.
You know?
I'm with you. I was bored by this fight. I love jujitsu.
Yeah,
You know me.
yeah,
But it wasn't a fight. Like
no,
Derek Lewis didn't do. He had a couple moments, a few windows,
mm-hmm,
but he spent a lot of this fight just, being obstinate, doing nothing.
yep,
Which is tough, right? Because
yeah,
jujitsu, you don't really want to ever force things. You don't want to have to force things. You want people to give you things, and you take what they give you and capitalize on it. And Derek Lewis, to his credit, wasn't given much. But again, you're just defending at that point.
yeah,
It's intelligent, I'll give you that, but you're not trying to win a fight in any way. You're just surviving, and
yeah.
that's hard to watch.
That's hard to watch, and I got to say, it does Jailton. It did Jailton Almeida absolutely no favors at all. That all the promo package for this showed him hitting mitts with his dad and talking about how he grew up in a boxing gym and all that. Because then you watch him go out there, you're like, what were you doing in that boxing gym? Were you scrubbing floors? Were you jumping rope? Like,
Well, was it's no surprise what happened here. The takedown defense of Lewis is porous, and Almeida can actually wrestle for a jiu-jitsu guy.
I know it's not a shock.
The shock is that Lewis didn't get finished.
Yeah,
That's the shocker.
that's what I was here for. I was like, okay, you know what? It's not a great. It's not a great fight. It's not a competitive fight. I've seen Derek Lewis lose this fight already going in, but it's like, well, okay, but I can see Almeida roll. I can see him hit some fun sub. I can see him.
We haven't. Well, no, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was saying
You-
going in. Like
Yeah,
I've seen Derek Lewis fight Daniel Cormier. I've seen him fight. Not even Daniel Cormier, but I've seen him fight Sergey Spivak.
sure,
Like,
sure.
I have seen him fight people who want to take him down.
I had no
It's
issues.
not a mystery of what happens if they're actually good enough at jiu-jitsu, at least. But so I was hoping, just like, let's at least see Jailton Almeida do something fun, like do it, stunt a little.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like when planking was a fad.
Oh
This feels
god.
like that kind of stunt.
Ugh. Um, I will say this. Um, Almeida is the first guy to decision Derek Lewis in the UFC.
Yeah.
He's the first guy to decision Derek Lewis since Tony Johnson back in Bellator in like 2011 or some shit. So we've actually never seen this.
Fair play to Almeida. You brought something new to the table.
You got what you wanted, Zane. You wanted
That's
something
right.
new. Here you go.
That's right. It's my fault. I cursed this son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Ah.
But yeah, this was a stinker.
Yeah.
Stinker. But I don't think it doesn't. I don't think it matters that much for Almeida, though. Honestly, he just has to keep
Yeah.
winning. He's right there. That's it. He just has to keep winning.
I mean, it's all just a right time, right place kind of thing. For him, he just has to worry about getting himself into that position that Curtis Blades got himself in. But then this was a fight Curtis Blades couldn't win. And the reason that Curtis Blades has ended up in the perpetual bridesmaid spot is that he would get to fights like this and then not win them.
Yes.
So for Almeida getting wins like this, yeah, it does just feel like one of those things where it sucks. We all hate it. He called out Cyril Gahn. We've already got an interim title fight in front of us and a title fight. It's a very smart call out for him because not only do we have an interim title fight in front of us, but we have a title fight scheduled for International Fight Week of next year already, after which we will have the interim, after which we will have the interim champion promoted to full champion because the winner of Stipe versus Jones is not hanging out to fight Tom Aspinall or Sergey Pavlovich.
Well, not only that, but like, you're talking. He called out the guy that got out wrestled by Francis Ngannou.
Yeah.
He called out the guy that got subbed by John Jones and like insta subbed. Yeah, that's a fucking genius call out.
And it's a fight that, if you're Cyril Gahn right now, what fight are you getting? What fight are you waiting for? All of the big names in that division are sewn up.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think it's impressive that Almeida is a smaller heavyweight and he was able to hold down Lewis.
Sure, to a degree.
That's impressive, and I can see why that would be exhausting.
Mm-hmm. I get the logistics of why it was tiring, but
like what I still don't know is, does he have a heavyweight chin?
He ate some shots out there. I think he at least has a heavyweight enough chin that he's never been knocked out before.
Well, that's because he goes out there.
Or he was knocked out once.
It's his style, right? Like,
yeah.
His style is conducive to fighting on the ground and not getting knocked out. It's smart, but I feel like I have no idea whether or not he can really take a heavyweight punch.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm fine with seeing Jailton Almeida against Cyril Gahn if he can lure him into taking that fight. Otherwise, we're probably going to see something like Almeida versus Volkov or something like that. I don't know.
Gee, I wonder how that'll go down.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
And that's the thing is, like, I feel like Almeida is going to sub everybody else. Like, Gahn's getting subbed, right? Maybe not Blades, but Volkov getting subbed.
Yeah.
Spivak's kind of interesting, but, like, talk about boring.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Somebody else here, the same person we highlighted earlier, said Blades vs. Almeida would be interesting. It would be theoretically interesting.
Sure.
Intellectually, I'm interested in that fight.
On paper.
Actually watching it, I don't know that I'm... Yeah.
I'd watch it, like, during the Fight Pass Invitational, right?
Yeah.
Not on a UFC card.
Sure. Although UFC fighters in, like, high-level competitive grappling, there's a lot of stalling in that, too.
Yeah, sure.
Anyway.
Honestly, they might even strike. They might just end up striking.
That we can finally see Jailton Almeida put his boxing background to use.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But Aspinall though, that's when things get interesting.
yeah. It's it's just hard to have the enthusiasm after a fight like that, you know?
I don't know. I think God
I
gives me no reason to think he can stop any kind of grappling at an elite level of grappling.
yeah.
He can't stop like mediocre grappling. How the hell in a short amount of time is he going to be able to stop world class grappling?
It was the big fear against Cyril Gane is not me seeing him get subbed by John Jones, honestly.
That's Ngannou out wrestling him.
It was and it's not even necessarily Ngannou out wrestling him, although that is a big cause for concern. It was that moment that he had Ngannou down on his back, and he dropped for a leg lock.
Yeah.
That is the real point of concern, where it's like, if your intentions as a grappler flow in that direction against somebody like Jailton Almeida, Almeida's just gonna take over all day.
Oh yeah, I mean he'll come up on top, get his 2 points for the sweep, pass guard, submit.
Yeah,
but I would love to see. But there's also the fact, like the possibility that Gon styles on him, like Gon did to Tuivasa. Like he comes out and does something like that. It's like, oh, well, it's interesting.
Yeah, Gon does ask one of the other questions that almost every heavyweight is not prepared to answer, which is, what if you fight somebody that can actually keep range and maintain it behind a jab and low kicks?
Yeah.
We certainly have never seen Jailton Almeida answer a question like that.
No. So and that makes Volkov interesting.
It could, maybe. We'll see.
Well, he got quickly subbed by Aspinall.
It's just hard to be hyped after this fight. I was interested. I'm not gonna get too down on Almeida for one really blankety performance. Derek Lewis is actually, we have recorded history that in many fights, he's a very hard guy to just stay on top of. He makes people really tired just holding him down. So I'm not going to be too hard on him. It's just hard after this fight to be like, I can think of that next Jailton Almeida fight that I'm hyped for,
No, I disagree. Yeah. Like there's like fucking 5 people to choose from. I'm all of them.
All right.
What do you mean, dude?
You are You're delusional from your lack of sleep.
He's too.
That's all it is.
I am on 30 minutes of sleep, but he's like, he's 2 fights away from a title shot. What are you talking about?
I know. That's why I should be more hyped. I'm channeling the MMA fan zeitgeist that I just had to spend several hours interacting with, none of whom were excited about Jailton Almeida after that fight.
No, I mean, I get it. I'm still excited though. He's still fucking dominated.
This is why you are the optimist to my pessimist.
The yin and the yang, Zane.
That's right. All right, let's talk about the actual cool thing on this card.
Sure.
Nicholas Dalby.
Whoa. We can't call him that. We got to call him EPO Nico. No disrespect. Allegedly. I'm just kidding. It's a total joke, but right?
No, you got to ask the question.
My dude just said he said full throttle, full speed ahead, and like that's it. And left it on. And just left it on. And it was the best game plan ever.
Oh yeah. I mean, I came into this fight. I picked Gabriel Bonfim going into this.
Most did. I did.
Yeah. And I was talking to him about it on the Vivi, and I was like, the fun thing about watching and rooting for Nicholas Dalby is you pick against him, and then you get to watch him like outperform your expectations.
Right.
Like that's what makes it great. Is it you're not sitting there, you're not. It's not picking Jailton Almeida out there where you're like, okay, yeah, I picked Jailton Almeida, and now I'm watching him just roll over Derek Lewis, and I don't even feel that. I didn't even have fun with it.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You pick Gabriel Bonfim to be like, no, he's too fast, he's too strong, he's too dynamic, and I got to pick against Dalby. I love him. I want him to win, but I'm picking against him. And then you go out there and you watch him absolutely get his ass handed to him for a round.
Well, half a round, right?
3/4 of a round.
Because he came out storming the castle. Like he said, fuck this. I'm going to come fight you. He gave zero respect to Bonfim, and I love that.
Yeah.
He brought the fight right away.
He brought the fight.
It was once he gave up the takedown. That's when it was like, ooh, uh-oh.
And he got tagged a bunch in that early blitz.
Clean, hard shots, but he never really seemed that fazed by him.
That's just because he's insane.
He went full Terminator tonight.
Yeah.
He went full Terminator. You never go full Terminator.
And so to see him just like after a really bad round come right back out there and be like, all right, bro, let's see how far you can really take this. That's awesome. Because Bonfim was not ready.
Yeah. Yeah, not at all. Oh, man. There was this one moment where Dalby's bringing the heat. He's coming forward. He puts Bonfim on the cage, and Bonfim just stares up at the clock, and he just looks like a lost little puppy dog. He's like, shit, 2 minutes left. Fuck. And like you see it in him. You see the panic set in. And that was an overwhelming performance, man. That's really tough to deal with. Not only do you have to address all of the arsenal coming at you, but just the pace of trying to fight backwards like that. That sucks, dude.
It absolutely does. And this was one of 2 fights that we saw tonight where, for us old men out there, like Gabriel Bonfim is 26 years old.
Yeah.
38-year-old Nicholas Dalby going out there and just putting the screws to him.
Like, the 40-year-old dude's pushing the pace. Like, fuck yeah. EPO Nico, let's go. I would pick him against most, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'm loving it right now. Somebody suggested Dalby versus Holland, and I absolutely want to see that fight. I want to see Dalby fight Kevin Holland. Let's see who's up at the top, or who's at the edges of the UFC rankings out here for welterweight. We got Kevin Holland. We've got Michael Chiesa. I would watch Nicholas Dalby versus Michael Chiesa.
Is Chiesa still fighting?
I don't know.
I don't know if he's even still fighting.
We got Rinat Fakhretdinov is now ranked apparently, although I don't know about that. Did he actually get a ranking last week? I guess he must.
No, he is 100% ranked number 15.
Okay, yeah. Fakhretdinov got a win on this card against Elizeu Zaleski.
No, he fucking didn't. That was
he got a draw. That's right. He got a draw.
It might have, should have. It might have, should have, could have, would have been a win.
A win, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he is ranked 15.
So I would watch Fakhretdinov versus Dalby.
Sure. Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Holland,
that might be the move.
Fakhretdinov.
If they're not going to do like a rematch or something.
Yeah. I don't think they will. But
yeah, I don't feel like I need to see a rematch. I got what I needed. I got what I needed from it.
Yeah. So I love seeing Dalby get this kind of win. I love seeing him make his run right now at 38 years old, even if it never comes to anything. Like, dude has put in all the work over his career, got cut, had all sorts of personal issues, came back, and he's doing it,
Yeah, this was
It's a
cool.
beautiful thing.
This was something cool. It wasn't on my bingo card at all.
Mm-mm.
Terminator
Yeah.
Dolby.
Yeah.
Crazy cardio Dolby.
Hey, there's Santiago Ponzinibbio out there too, you know.
Fakrdinov, man, that's the move. That's the move.
Yeah,
That'd be a scrap. That'd be
that would be a scrap. All right. Well, let's man, do we have I'm like about to move on to the next
dude,
thing.
we can totally or here, how about this? We can at least talk about the cell phone lights coming on, right? That was cool.
Sure.
Like I love that.
Yeah.
I always forget about it because it only comes out every so often. And when it does, I'm like, oh shit, look at that. That's cool. And it's usually because the fights suck.
Yeah.
It's like it's like a yellow card for the fighters from the audience.
Yeah. Nasim. So as one of our listeners here, is I was just saying that that's what we're talking about. We're not talking about it, but we're talking about it. Nascimento Mays. Why did this fight need to happen again? Why did it need to get rebooked? I don't. This is just. There was absolutely no reason in the world that this fight needed to be made twice. It didn't even need to be made once. If
Maybe
this
it
fight,
was a clerical error, right? Like they forgot they
yeah,
already did it.
yeah, they carried the one when they shouldn't have.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I can buy that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nascimento, he did all right for a couple of rounds. Then he got tired from punching Dontel Mays in the head so much. And he maybe lost the third round, maybe not. I still gave it to him, but at that point, I wasn't really watching that close anymore.
I gave Mays the third. He definitely kept going.
Sure.
But super, super sloppy fight.
Yeah.
But the cell phone light, man,
The cell phone lights were cool. Okay.
it increased my buzz in a time of need.
Absolutely. Somebody missed our talk about Dolby versus Fakrdinov is the fight to make here. Exactly. If this is what the people want, then this is exactly the way to do it.
Yeah.
All right. Now, okay, I'm not actually that excited to move on from Nascimento Mays because now I got to talk about Kyle Bahayo versus Abus Magomedov, which
it got better as it went on.
It got better as it went on. Magomedov is still his whole thing. I think it's really clear in the UFC, especially. It was kind of clear coming in, but it's been laid very bare at the high levels of the sport. Is he can be the hammer, but he can't be the nail at all.
Sure.
And in this fight, he tried to solve that, because he's used to coming out and just whomping on people in a round, and then if the fight starts to go against him, he falls apart. What we saw against Strickland, that was not unique to Sean Strickland. That's happened before. And so we saw here was the overcorrection without solving the underlying problem.
Where Abus?
Yeah. Where Abus tried to come out and he was like, okay, well, I'll take my foot off the gas. I gassed against Sean Strickland. I won't fight so hard this time. I won't come out so aggressive.
There weren't nearly the amount of Peter Pan kicks being thrown out there.
No. And the result is still the problem against Sean Strickland was not that you fought too hard too early. It's that you can't be the nail. And the moment that Kyle Bahayo started making you the nail, the fact that you didn't do anything for 2 rounds didn't matter. You were still dead tired.
Mm-hmm.
The gas tank is going because he can't, the adrenaline starts to dump when he's getting it put on him. And that is not a problem that gets solved by not fighting hard early in the fight.
Yeah. And like it was sticky right early on. Like
Yeah.
there was a lot, not a lot. There were a handful of fight ending strikes that were thrown that just barely missed.
A soupçon, a smattering, a
Yes.
sprinkling.
Yes. And you know, they would share a smile and everyone at home was like, hoo, hoo, hoo. So I felt like it was just enough to kind of keep me just almost right there. And then Kaio started landing solo strikes. And then by the
Yeah.
third round, yeah, Abus just deteriorated.
Yeah. You
And
just
it wasn't from some crazy pressure either.
no.
Maybe it's like overstimulation from all with the feints and just the bobbing and the weaving and the in and the out and I don't
It's
know.
just when he starts getting hit, when he starts getting it put on him, he falls to pieces. That's what it is. He's a fighter who is, he's got a huge frame. He's used to being the dominant dude when he was on the regionals, and everybody's way, not nearly as good an athlete, not as big, not as tough. Then he got to be the hammer all the time. And now when he's in the UFC and people are physically capable of standing up to him, he just can't take it.
Well, that's what's in PFL, and this is why the title runs through Abus Magomedov. Kaio is going to be a UFC champion. It's just this is how it's done.
Oh man!
Look, how am I here? Look at Sean Strickland. Look at Lewis Taylor.
I was gonna say Kyle Bahayo's style of fighting makes me way too upset to imagine him as champion, but Sean Strickland kind of fits that bill too, so maybe you're on to something here.
Yeah, Abus is the golden ticket that nobody knows about.
That's right.
And why was this fight even?
He's the Wonka bar of MMA.
Yeah. The golden ticket Wonka bar. And yeah, while also being like the Uncle Joe, or like what's he doing? How's he gonna just get up out of bed to go to the chocolate factory but can't get a job? What's going on here, dude?
Oh, we can't carry that metaphor too far.
But yeah, Kaio, he started turning on in the third. That was cool. It got exciting. That little sequence with the elbow to the flying knee to the body shot, like that was pretty sweet.
I when he's landing stuff, I like watching Kyle Bahayo fight, but it's all like his style is either way outside or way inside, and he's just like lunging through the space. It's zero surprise to me that he got poked in the eyes like 3 times in this fight. Because when you're 8 feet away and you're jumping with your whole body at somebody, they're just going to put a hand out. They're just going to put a hand out to try to stop you.
You know who else fights like that? The guy he called out, Dricus du Plessis.
It's true.
I would love to see that fight. I want to see that fight. I don't think Dricus should accept or will accept. At least not anytime soon. But damn it, that would be a car crash. That would be such a freak show.
Bahayo isn't even ranked. So he's not getting like a top 3 guy, a top 5 guy. He's not getting a top 10 guy.
Hold on. He might. I mean, Sean Strickland got a title shot off that shit, right?
Yeah, but that was because Abus Magomedov iced the worst middleweight on the roster.
No.
And everybody lost their shit and was like, "Oh man, you beat Dustin Stoltzfus. That makes you a contender." I think that magic is off now. I think that no longer is quite that far. Let's have Kyle Bahayo get a win over like Anthony Hernandez or Nasruddin Imavov or even Jack Hermanson or something.
Sure. Yeah. Or let's bring up the Brendan Allen thing.
Yeah.
Right? And you're going to be, oh, he's booked against Paul Craig. And I'm going to be like I said, Brendan Allen. They fight next week, by the way.
Somebody asked about where Abus goes from here. Have him fight Edmund Shabazian. That is a perfect matchup, I think, for Abus Magomedov.
Hey, man, is he still around?
I think so. Yeah, UFC. His connections to Ronda have bought him like 8 different one up extra lives.
They're talking about for
So
Abus?
yeah,
Nah, dude. Abus needs to fight like some like a short notice, a guy fighting up a weight division. He needs a softer ball than Shabazian.
but it's 2 dudes who neither of them can stand being the nail at all. So I absolutely want to watch that just to see which of
Don't.
them like.
That fight would suck, Zane. That fight would be horrible. It would be horrible.
I just want to see the complete mental, the gears having to turn for both of them, realizing that the only option they have is to try and avoid a hard fight at all costs.
That's what I mean. It would be
Yeah,
analysis by paralysis. It would be
yeah, yeah.
boring as shit. I don't want to see that. Don't speak that into the ether there, Zane. Why? You're
All
like
right.
doing it. Oh, I get it. You're just trying. You need content for the depressed. I
That's
understand.
right. That's right. I got one hand feeds the other, Eddie. One hand feeds the other.
I'm on to you, Zane.
Yeah. All right. That brings us to a catchweight bout, supposed to be a lightweight bout. Elvis. I'm never going to be able to read that and not just say Elves. Elves Brenner, Kanan Khrushchevsky, and as advertised, this was just going to be kind of a hammer and tongs war of 2 dudes who only really know how to fight going forward. And unfortunately for Khrushchevsky, he took it coming off the couch, which is why he needed the 15-pound allowance, and it kind of showed. And then he got dinged really hard behind the ear and face planted.
Yeah, this was cold. This was a cold knockout, a cold walk-off knockout. And the way it was set up was fucking brilliant, dude. It's like you overextend on a cross and then you step through as you weave under a punch coming at you as you're unloading this monstrous looping left hook. Like and where it landed to the left side of his head.
Yeah, it was really weird because it's weird because you see it in slow motion and it looks like the knuckle just like skims the head. You're like, oh, how did that knock him out? And then you see it in full speed and you realize how fast that clipped and skimmed off his head. And it's just like, oh, that hit him really hard.
Crisp. Oh, so crisp.
Yeah.
This was fantastic. And the dude got switched off. Like
he lost a degree on his 9th degree Muay Thai belt. He's an 8th degree Muay Thai black belt now.
He went full Mitch McConnell, dude. He got switched off. That's tough, man. He might not even fight again in the UFC.
Oh no, they brought him in on the Contender Series. He'll get at least 3 fights.
Yeah, if he wakes up, dude.
Yeah, that's true.
Dude, this is one of the coldest knockout, like one punch knockouts I've seen in a while.
Yeah, they got to stop handing out black belts for Muay Thai in Brazil. That needs to go away.
They got to stop handing out belts for Muay Thai. Period.
Yeah, any belts. That's what I mean. Just any belt for Muay Thai. No, there's enough of a competition ladder for Muay Thai that's been established around the world. You don't need to measure Muay Thai success through the belt system.
Yeah, belts are like a Americanized kind of thing.
Yeah,
it's trickling down.
Belts are for Hapkido, Jeet Kune Do. You're like
belts are for martial arts who weaponize belts, and you can use the belt. And like if you don't have a belt in your martial art, you don't have a belt system.
Well, it's also just it's a way to sell martial arts success for martial arts where nobody competes,
like the merit system.
Yeah, you're trying to give. Boxing doesn't have belts. Yeah, boxing doesn't have belts because it's got title belts. You've got championships people can win.
Sure,
you can't really. You can be a Taekwondo champion, but we all know what that means.
Sure.
You know,
Well, I don't know. Karate combat. That's
karate.
the whole
Hey,
thing.
that's not taekwondo. I mean,
Bullshit.
I know that.
Bullshit. Next fucking month, we
I
got
know
Anthony Pettis and
versus
Vincent
Benson
Henderson.
Henderson.
That's Taekwondo versus Taekwondo.
Taekwondo versus Taekwondo. Karate combat. I
Yeah.
see you out there, karate
Yeah.
combat.
Yep. How do we get
All
talking
right.
about this? What are we
I
talking
don't know. Anyway, it's Kanan Khrushchevsky in his 9th-degree Muay Thai black
about? Oh,
belt.
that's
Got
right.
me.
That's right. And how crisp this knockout was.
Yes. All right. That brings us to a welterweight bout. Rinat Fakhretdinov, Elizeu Zaleski dos Santos, and
Hold on, Zane. Before we get to this, what the fuck was up with Derek Lewis's gloves? Like, why'd the UFC logos melt off him by the into the first round?
A, it was hot out there.
It didn't happen to Almeida's gloves.
B, the UFC is continuing their long tradition of partnering with gear and outfitters that are bargain basementing their way through all the outfitting.
Yeah. Are you suggesting they Alibaba it?
Yeah. Oh, it's gonna start. People fighting gonna be starting to walk out with Venom spelled right.
It's
Knock off.
Venom.
It's knockoff Venom. It's VENOM, not VENUM.
VNUN. It's Venom.
Venom. There you go.
Yeah. Sorry, that was just on my mind. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
No, that was weird. All right. Yeah. Welterweight bout. Rinat Fakhretdinov, Elizeu Zaleski, and it remains true. I said it going in. I didn't pick Zaleski. I feel a little bad because I wanted to.
I wanted to also. I picked him last time out.
Oh yeah,
and
me too.
And I know how much of a dog he is, and I know how much he can rip to the body, and how much of a problem that can be late in fights. But I just thought Fakhretdinov would be too much for him.
Well,
and
the thing is,
he almost was.
He almost was. You know, like we knew going in with the last fight, Nurmagomedov gets tired. That is like Abubakar Nurmagomedov. He just gets tired all by himself. If he's fighting hard for 15 minutes, he will get tired. Zaleski does not get tired. So that was the dynamic there that was like, you got to pick Zaleski. Because even if he's going to get out wrestled for a round, Nurmagomedov is going to get tired. Zaleski will not.
Yeah.
And with
he attacks the body.
Yeah.
He doesn't get tired and he attacks the body.
And Fakhretdinov, we haven't seen him get tired. So for me, it was like, I don't think Zaleski is necessarily going to get out wrestled for 15 minutes, but I don't think Fakhretdinov is going to get tired. And if he doesn't get tired, I think he can probably win. So I'll pick him.
Right.
And it's just that little bit different thing, but it remains true. And it should be noted forever going forward. I mean, he's, for as long as the wheels stay on Zaleski's car, you do not beat this man with wrestling alone. Like, he does not get taken down and out wrestled to a loss. That does not happen to him. And Fakhretdinov came out and tried it, and it did not happen here either.
Whoa. He knocked him down in like the first 20 seconds.
Yeah, and then he spent the rest of the round like riding on it. I
think he mixed up a bunch of different things. The first round he did. The second round he was more willing to trade in open space.
Well, his wrestling stopped working. Fakhretdinov, he doesn't have any leg drive on it. He's way stronger than I gave him credit for. That dude, his striking is not at all polished. His defense is not good. He stands flat, but he stands flat-footed as hell, which means he cranks everything into all of his shots, and he's clearly strong as hell. But part of him being strong as hell is he doesn't actually get any leg drive on his shots. All of his shots come purely from bending at the waist and using his back and his shoulders to grab and like yank out and lift.
Yeah. And he was telegraphing a lot of that
Yeah.
from the outside.
Well, and that's the thing, is that without the leg drive, everything it starts to become obvious because you're just bending and reaching, and Zaleski could just get an arm in there and stuff it. You know, he could get an underhook.
How'd you score that third round?
10-8. I gave Zaleski a 10-8 for that. I had it a draw.
Fair.
I thought the draw was the right way to go.
Fair.
But I love to see it. I regret not picking Zaleski, but at the same time, this was all why I didn't, because Fakhretdinov had the gas tank to go multiple rounds.
Well, that's the thing, right? If you watch his fight with Brian Battle, like he beat his ass the whole 15 minutes.
Yeah.
The whole 15 minutes. Didn't waver for a second.
Yeah.
So this was really weird.
Well, Zaleski is just
he's
dog. Strong as hell. And he's a dog.
The body.
And he doesn't get tired. That's the thing. That is wild. For a dude as like strong and muscly as he is, and who throws with as much power and as wild as he does, he is exactly as ready to go and throw down in round 3 as he is in round 1.
I love that.
Yeah.
It makes him dangerous. You know,
it does.
Throughout.
So, cool fight. We already know what we want next for Rinat Fakhretdinov. Don't run this back.
Yes.
Throw him in with Nicholas Dalby.
Yeah.
And as for Zaleski, just keep giving him more cool middle of the pack action fights in the welterweight division,
or keep giving him guys that start strong and gas. That's so fun, dude. Watching him rally on people, like it's fun.
Yeah,
it's fun. Not for him, I'm sure, but for the audience.
Yeah. Love it. So fun fight. Definitely one of the highlights on this card. Another highlight of old people getting it done, because you got to throw Angela Hill in there further down the card.
Angela over the hill. That's what I'm talking about. I picked her, so
I did too.
I'm a little happy. Okay, Zane.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I gotta stay neck and neck with you in the staff pay with you and me now.
I'm
falling behind.
I was a little shocked that Hill was the underdog here. And I've seen this time and time again where she's the underdog. She's the veteran. And I didn't know how Hill was going to win, but I figured it would be in a veteran kind of way. And I felt like it would probably involve the clinch in some way. And it did.
Well, the thing for me was, okay, I think, she was the underdog because we've all seen Angela Hill lose a lot of fights a lot of ways.
But it's usually to proven or established competition.
Yeah, there's that. The other thing is, though, the reason I felt really confident picking her was, or reasonably confident, is we've never seen her lose a fight by getting knocked out. And I have never seen Denise Gomes win a high-level fight with any kind of clear round-winning plan where she wasn't on her way to knocking somebody out. And the big thing that came across in this fight was round 3 hit, and Angela Hill had an absolute, I don't know how we just jumped to talking about this, but we did. We'll get back to Petrina Bukowskis in a moment. But Angela Hill had a clear, obvious plan for how she wanted to fight round 3 and what she wanted to do to Denise Gomes in the 3rd round. And Denise Gomes had no idea of how she wanted to fight round 3.
Yeah.
She was out there trying to just figure out, okay, I'm tired. How do I still fight when I'm tired? And Angela Hill's out there like, okay, I want to press you into the clinch. I want to try to work for this takedown. I want to work these knees. I want to work these elbows. I want to try to beat you in these spots and get to them. And that's the veteran talent talking.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah. Just moving with intention.
Yeah.
And out hustling the whole time. Right?
Yeah.
She was dictating, and Gomes was just trying to keep up, and it didn't work. And the second the 3rd round ended, you just see how dejected Gomes was. She just looked so bitter, like, damn, like I could have won this fight, but yeah, she got it.
It's great to
she fought a seasoned veteran. That's a tough out.
Yeah,
and I love to roll over.
I love to see Hill really getting that moment to be the veteran and get a win over somebody really on the rise. Because, we've seen, saw that against Lupita Godinez as well, which was a good reason to have confidence too here, because that fight wasn't that long ago, and Godinez is good. But she's fought a lot of veterans, and she's fought a lot of good fighters on the rise. But people like Amanda Lemos and Verna Jandiroba, where you're like, yeah, this is not for you, Angela. You're not going to get this one,
right?
But this was good to see her take on somebody that people were hyped about a little bit, and just look like the vet out there.
She's the strawweight Cowboy Cerrone.
Yep. She is. And I loved her thing afterwards. She called, she said she wanted a rematch with Michelle Watterson. She wanted a rematch with, damn it. Where Amanda Lemos. I don't know that she's going to get either of those fights, but.
Yeah, well, Watterson's coming off of 4 losses.
Yeah, I don't know. That doesn't make sense. But there's a fight with Karolina Kowalkiewicz out there, who looked pretty good last time out.
Pretty decent.
Couple wins. And otherwise, Angela Hill's just like, I'm down to fight anybody else too. I will fight anybody coming up. I'll fight all
that's her MO.
Yep.
Nothing new. She'll probably be in a short notice fight next with someone in the top 5.
Yeah. Or somebody in the bottom 10,
right.
Whatever they need, they'll call her and she'll show
she's
up.
The new John Moraga. She is Cowboy Cerrone. She is John Moraga.
Yep.
She's a chameleon.
Anyway, that was a lot of fun.
We got to go backwards.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about this light heavyweight bout. Vitor Petrino, Modestas Bukauskas, and the birth of measured Vitor Petrino. He came out, he fought behind the jab. He was,
that's
playing
scary,
it calm.
Dude.
Yeah.
That is terrifying.
Yeah, no. And he looked huge out there too. Like Modestas Bukauskas is a 6'3" light heavyweight with a 78-inch reach. He is a big, full-sized light heavyweight. Vitor Petrino made him look tiny.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know how tall is this dude, because I don't even know that he's any taller. He's listed at 6'2", which I don't know that he looked more like 6'4" out there. At the very least 6'3". He didn't look an inch shorter than Bukauskas at all.
And he's thick.
But he's just twice as thick.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
Man. I don't know, man. This was a wild knockout.
This is
wild. Like Bukowski's eyes crossed and then rolled back before he even hit the deck. Like on impact, it just went. This was, man. If it weren't for Brenner, this would have been knockout of the night.
Yeah, this was great. Great to see from Petrino. He is looking like a potential future contender in that division. Time to get him up into the rankings.
Yeah, check that man.
There's a fight coming up between Alonzo Menafield and Dustin Jacoby. Put him in with the winner of that fight.
Yeah.
That kind of jump.
Sure.
I want to see him. I want to see him out there against Azamat Murzakanov, like as soon as possible.
Sure. He's a freak, man.
Yeah,
he's a freak. He is in the right place. He's in the right division.
He is absolutely in the right division. So that was an awesome showing from him. Couldn't be more hyped about him off that performance. All right. Now we get to the point where, for once, even I think I'm prepared to be as mad as you. Eduardo Moura, Montserrat Conejo. This is one of the most weight bully performances I have ever seen in my entire life. In the UFC, especially. I mean, there's some shit going on in the regionals that would turn your hair gray if that's the kind of thing that freaks you out.
Yeah.
At the UFC level,
Modern day UFC.
modern day UFC, no David Goliath shit.
Yeah.
This is about as weight bully as it gets. Like, Eduardo Moura, she called out like Diana Belbita after this. You are not a strawweight. They should not let you back near the strawweight division ever.
She looks huge.
She's 5'6". She started her career at 135 pounds. She spent most of it at 125.
I think someone on the broadcast brought that up. They're like, "Oh, this weight cut, obviously is playing a factor." And someone was like, "Oh no, it's the technique. She's using technique." And it's like, she's just She's doing whatever she wants because she can.
Montserrat Conejo, first, she is an atom weight. She's 5 foot tall.
Yeah.
So there is that too. But she shouldn't look like an Oompa Loompa out there, fighting Bigfoot, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And this was pure cryptid territory. Eduardo Moura is way too big to be a strawweight. The UFC needs to push her up to 125 pounds.
Yeah. And she'd probably still be huge there.
Yeah. 5'6" is, with the way she's built, because it's solid. Like, she is not going to get out-muscled by people.
So if you get 30% of your opponent's purse, that's their
show money only.
Show only. Oof.
So that's $2,000 or $3,000 here.
Oof. Yikes.
Yeah, that's one of those things that they just, for too many years, nobody actually ever completed that sentence, which was, it was like, oh, they're getting 20% of the purse for missing weight.
Yeah.
Or 30% of the purse for missing weight. It's like, yeah, no. You need to complete that sentence.
Right.
It's 30%, 20% or 30% of the show money purse. Which, it makes there's a logical sense to that, because you're taking from the part that the person is guaranteed to get,
Sure.
True. It doesn't necessarily make sense to say like, oh, if they're getting, if they're on 10-10 and they lose, you get $3,000, but if they win, you get $6,000. I get that. I think that feels just. But logistically, for like,
a percentage is a percentage, Zane.
Yeah,
you get 30%, whether it's 10,000 or 20,000, it's going to be the same, right? If you get 30% of the total purse.
Yeah, but in terms of adjudicating, I can see how it would be a lot more messy. It's a lot simpler on commissions to just say ahead of time, no, we're planning on finding you this amount of money. Not a percentage, but just say, okay, we know your purse.
But hold on, is that even a commission thing? I thought they just got new contracts. They just make new contracts for different.
No, it's a commission thing.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay. So does that mean the money passes through the commission first? Well, I guess it does anyways, right?
Yeah.
That's kind of how MMA works.
Exactly. The money passes through the commission, and different which is why the percentages can change depending on what commission you're in. Some commissions will adjust from 20 to 30 for a weight miss. Some will just leave it at 20 no matter what, etc.
And there's some negotiation there between the fighters also.
Yeah, and fighters can also say, "Oh, I demand this higher percentage," and then the UFC can go in and negotiate that.
Sure.
But
yeah, rough out though, man. That's
probably the end of Conejo's UFC run. That's 3 straight losses, all of them incredibly one-sided. But it's, like people were saying too, it's a terrible way to go, because she had a bunch of injuries that she was coming off of. She going into this year, and she hadn't fought for like 2 years. And so, this is her attempting to come back from injury, get a UFC career jump started. She's already undersized, and then you're coming in against somebody who misses weight by like 4 pounds and is just clearly in the wrong division trying to weight bully their way through it. That just sucks.
Yeah, and there's also like the possibility that she's just not good,
Well, yeah, that's part of it too.
right?
But
Like she's never fought anybody, and when she did, she lost.
yeah,
She got a quick sub in Invicta. She got in the UFC, so it's like you caught a sub, right? And
yeah, no.
against someone somewhat
I
decent.
Kaneho was never long for the UFC, no matter what. I'm just saying this is a sucky way to. This is the kind of thing where it doesn't. It's not going to leave her feeling like, oh, I wasn't good enough. It's going to leave her feeling like I got robbed. I got jobbed out of the UFC.
Yeah,
So
maybe.
anyway, Mora just moved to 125 pounds. That's the end thing here. Otherwise, opening the card, Mark Diakese, Kawe Fernandez, and just can't help keeping feeling like Mark Diakese's confidence has been shot by a rough run in the UFC.
Where's he training now?
He is apparently with American Top Team these days.
I think said
Maybe.
something about the goat shed on the broadcast.
No, maybe that. I don't know. He's
Um,
bounced around a lot over the years.
nah, he definitely had a rough go in the UFC. Not like terrible, not like getting starched or anything, but just some
Just
setbacks.
losing a lot.
Yeah.
And it feels like you watch him come out here and just like desperate grind his way to a win against a newcomer and just be on like, totally overcome at the end to get the win. And just can't help feeling it's like you're not out there fighting with the expectation that you're going to smash anyone at this point anymore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know, man. He's
Yeah.
weird. It seems like his ceiling would be far higher than what it is. Like he has all these tools, but for
He's,
whatever reason,
I think it's just he's never become a comfortable pocket striker. So he can be way outside trying something flashy and doing like a one-off thing, or he can dive in and be clinched up trying to wrestle somebody. But anytime he has to sit right in front of somebody and trade hands, he just looks really shaky. And modern MMA, like, you've got to be able to punch with people a lot.
yeah.
It's a high volume striking game these days. So, yeah, I don't know. Feels rough. Feels like the dude was once a really electric top prospect, and at this point is just kind of happy to still be here.
Is he a journeyman?
Well, he hasn't been journeying anywhere, so.
Wow. He has been around for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just can't get consistent.
Yeah. He's
And
not
maybe
even
that's
that.
the floating around you were talking about.
Yeah. All the different training camps and all the different places. He's still not that old. He's only 30, so there's still a few miles left on the tread, but it doesn't really feel like anything's going to
Yeah,
change.
but he's been fighting for a decade.
Yeah.
Like what you see is what you get.
Yeah, I think we're there.
Yeah. Which is fine. We're like talking about him like he fucking lost here.
No, he won. He kept his job. He's he's still going. But it was telling that after the fight, he even said like, thanks to my coaches for sticking with me because I would have quit if they weren't pushing me to keep going. Like,
yeah, that's rough.
How
about all the fence grabs in this fight? Did you see
Yeah.
that? It's like Diakese was grabbing the fence to stop that omoplata, and then Fernandez used like his foot and his hand to try to get an arm bar.
Yeah.
He's like, dude, what are y'all doing out here?
No. Anyway, I don't want to go back and recap the main event. It was lame. I'm glad it's over. I don't want to think about it.
That's fair.
On that note, I think we're just going to ride out into the sunset. We'll have a little bit of bonus content for all those of you that are subscribed to our Substack. If you're not subscribed to our Substack, you should, because we'll be coming back at you with just a little bit of bonus content for Substack subscribers only. Otherwise, thanks everyone for tuning in. And you can find me on Twitter at the Zane Simon. Find Eddie on Twitter. I'm still going to call it Twitter forever at the Eddie Mercado. Find both of us over bloodyelbow.com. And we will see you all. I won't actually be here next week, but we'll probably see Eddie next week. Who knows?
Oh, no.
Yeah. Adios,
maybe
everyone.
I'll find somewhere to be. I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Adios.